What's up, everyone? Welcome back to the Platform Podcast, Great Plains Edition. Before I get started with standouts from this week, I'd like to say thank you. We have a lot of names to go through today, and the reason why is because of the last episode. I asked you to send me your name and stats, and I told you if I didn't get them, then I couldn't list them and couldn't get you mentioned to the coaches. So I have a lot of names to go through, and that is thanks to you, because all that's going to happen now is that you're going to get your name out to the coaches, out to college coaches, and get your name nationally known. So let's get started. I attended Friday night. I went to the Blue Valley versus Washburn Rural game. Again, like I said in the last episode, I'm a huge Blue Valley fan. Been a Blue Valley fan since Brian Schottenheimer was the quarterback there. Won a state playoff game versus Highland Park in Topeka. Kind of showing my age, but yeah, I'm older than Brian Schottenheimer even. But I remember watching him. They interviewed his dad, Marty, right behind me. So anyways, at the Blue Valley, Washburn Rural, hell of a game. It ended up 31-30 with Washburn Rural coming out on top. But I do want to mention Jordan Lockett, 2027 wide receiver. You know the last name. He had 5 receptions plus a really nice end around that went for 20 yards. He also had a 80-yard kickoff return that was just gorgeous. He caught it on the run, went up virtually untouched into the end zone, but it was beautiful. It hung up there, and he just caught it right in stride, right in motion, about the 80-yard line, and took off. Of the 5 receptions he had a couple that were really, really big, third or fourth down, first down makers. When they really needed it, he came through with a lot of catches. And then Jacob Lockett, also 2027, wide receiver, of course, 6 catches with 45-yard TD reception, and where he tracked the ball beautifully. This was a gorgeous touchdown by Jacob. Quarterback, when it left his hand, I thought it was way overthrown, and Jacob was in wide open clear. I thought he was going to overthrow it. Jacob tracked it. Oh my gosh, it was beautiful, beautiful job, Jacob, tracking that ball. He caught it right in stride too. He just caught up to it with it. He got 83 yards on the night in receptions. Just like Jordan, a lot of those were third or fourth down where they really, really needed it, and he came through, got him the first down. He also had a 30-yard kickoff return as well, and he ended up with 113 all-purpose yards. So both the Locketts did wonderful. I was really, really proud of them. Player of the game, Taft Stevie. He plays for Empire 7-on-7, and it shows. Empire has him. Empire and his high school coaches have him. He's one of my favorite tight ends in the state. In my opinion, he's probably top 2 or 3 tight ends in the state of Kansas. He had an amazing night. He's a do-everything athlete. He's a tight end, but he does everything. He caught a touchdown pass. Then they put him in the Wildcat, and at the quarterback position, then he rushed for a touchdown. Then he ran for 2 two-point conversions. Twice he ran for a 2-point conversion, and then he also threw a 2-point conversion from the Wildcat. It was a great night for that Empire 7-on-7 player, and I'm really, really, really proud of him. All in all, Blue Valley showed me a lot. They lost 31-30, but their players really, really showed me a lot as far as ability, and I was really proud of them. Again, as a fan of Blue Valley, I was really proud of them. I was up in the stands. Of course, I had to sit on Washburn Rural's side because, I had to. Let's just put it that way. I had to sit over there, and I bragged all of them guys up. Whenever they would score, I'd cheer, and everybody kind of look at me like, what are you doing? But for Washburn Rural, John Hortel, 2026 quarterback, he had over 250 yards and 3 touchdowns. I've seen him a lot of times, but this was easily his best game I think he ever had. Showed a lot of composure in the pocket. And then when they did get him outside the pocket, he escaped correctly. He either stepped up and over if it was coming in from the side, or if it was coming in from the front, he stepped back. He did a really good job of escaping the pocket, but keeping his composure, looking downfield, and made the pass. Showed great leadership in that 31-30 win. So John Hoytel, 2026 Washburn rural quarterback. So that's my report from that game. Really good game. Really good game. So now we will go to the Kansas standouts from the state of Kansas. And a lot of these guys are going to be repeat offenders on this show. And there's a couple reasons for that. But the number one reason is because these are all really good players. And I've gotten a really good relationship with them. So you're going to hear these names mentioned on a lot of the podcasts before and now. We're going to start off with Braden Pappas, repeat offender on the show. He's a 2026 running back out of Goddard Eisenhower. He had 24 carries for 148 yards, 2 catches for 19 yards, and a touchdown. Again, I seen Braden. First time I saw him was at Washburn Ichabod's camp. Seen him perform there. He is one of the fastest players I've ever seen. He actually ran a 4.41 40. So he's lightning fast. Really good job. Chayton Godwin out of Goodland, Kansas. He's a 2026 running back. He had 189 yards rushing with 3 rushing TDs and 1 reception of 23 yards. And he trains at the Sharp Performance. You're going to hear a bunch of guys from Sharp Performance. They train there. Jake Sharp, former KU running back, really good training out there. He gets a lot of great players, but he trains them. Oh my gosh, he's a one. Sharp Performance is a very good training center, and they do some 7-on-7 stuff. And that's where I met a lot of these guys, was at their 7-on-7 teams. But so yeah. Chayton Goodwin out of Goodland. Connor Halliday, he's a 2026 running back, linebacker out of Great Bend. He's another Sharp Performance guy. He had 22 carries for 185 yards and 2 touchdowns. Then on defense, he had 2 tackles and a tackle for loss. Then we go to Maxon Smiley. I saw him at K-State's camp, and last Friday, the 2028 quarterback out of Colby went 14 of 28 for 347 yards and 4 touchdowns. Now, to date, and remember in Kansas, this is only our second week, so his 2-game total, though, is 632 passing yards and 8 touchdowns. On 53 attempts, he's only had 1 interception. So Maxon Smiley is really good. Again, 2028 out of Colby. Another repeat offender, L.J. Bowens, 2026, Blue Valley Northwest. This guy is a huge mover up the recruiting rankings. Coaches are starting to take notice of him, and I hope the platform, Great Plains region, has something to do with that, because with coaches watching, because I've been touting LJ ever since my very first podcast. If you go back and look, just really shooting up the recruiting rankings. You better get an eye on him right now. He had 91 rushing yards with 2 touchdowns. He has 75 kickoff return yards with a touchdown, and he's an all-around weapon with the ball. Just really good LJ Bowens. Cameron Fields, he's a 2027 wide receiver DB out of KC, Washington. He had 5 receptions for 112 yards and a touchdown. And he also had 13 rushing attempts for 168 yards with 3 touchdowns. He had 175 yards kickoff returns and a touchdown. Now, when I'm done, I'm going to tell you a little story about KC, Washington. Again, he is a 2027 wide receiver DB out of KC, Washington. Cameron Fields. Then we have Khalil Burns Bay. He's a 2027 running back, athlete out of KC, Washington. He had 2 receptions for 92 yards and a touchdown. And he had 10 carries for 96 yards and a touchdown. And then their quarterback, which is Savion Stone, he's a 2026 quarterback for KC Washington. I seen him at the KC Varsity Combine, and I was really impressed with him in there. He caught my eye there. He's a dual threat quarterback. He had 15 carries for 141 yards and 2 rushing TDs. And in passing, he was 10 for 18 for 226 yards and 2 passing touchdowns as well. That's Savion Stone. Now, those 3 guys are out of KC Washington. Now, I got a little bit of story on KC Washington. Maybe 10, 15 years ago, KC Washington was in such bad shape that they could not field enough players to practice. And they just got together on Fridays. Whoever could show up would show up and play. And then here about, I want to say 4 or 5 years ago, I went to, over the spring, I went to a 7-on-7 tournament. And I seen KC Washington had a team there. And I was really surprised. So I went down and talked to the coach, and he said, yes. He said, what we've done is we've gotten these kids to come in and believe in us. And I was so proud of KC Washington and their coaching staff and the school, the players. They've really come together, and they are, as you can see, they have really, really, really good performers. So I'm very happy for KC Washington. Keep it up, okay? Then we go back to Colby with Cody Wright, a repeat offender. He is actually probably one of my favorite athletes in the state of Kansas. Really, really like Cody. One of my favorites. He's a 2026 linebacker running back. He had 5 tackles, 1 interception, 1 sack, and 1 tackle for loss. And he also had 5 catches for 64 yards. So that's Cody Wright out of Colby. Again, one of my absolute favorite players in the state of Kansas. Then we go down to Wichita for Cam Akins, 2028 defensive back out of Wichita East. He is a track guy, really, really quick. He plays for Wichita Wheat on 7-on-7. For Friday night, he was targeted 5 times. Again, this is DB stats. He was targeted 5 times, allowed 0 catches, had 1 pass breakup, and added a tackle. Now, in the season, he's been targeted 9 times, hasn't allowed a catch, and 3 tackles and 2 pass breakups. So he is he's not allowed a catch on him all season. So good job, Cam. Jesus Delgado is a 2026 linebacker out of Salinas Central. He had 10 tackles, 4 tackles for loss, and he blocked a point after as well. So as Jesus Delgado, 2026 linebacker out of Salinas Central. Then we go to Cooper Harris, 2027 linebacker out of Hutchinson. He had 7 tackles, 1 quarterback hurry, and he caused a fumble. So that's good job, Cooper Harris, 2027 linebacker out of Hutchinson. Then we go to Xavier Miller. He's a 2027 wide receiver DB out of Lincoln, Kansas. Xavier had 3 catches for 74 yards and 2 receiving touchdowns. And he also added a rushing TD. So good job, Xavier, 2027 wide receiver out of Lincoln. Then we come back just north of Topeka to a high school called Jeff West. Creighton Holman, he's a 2026, and he does everything. He's offense, defense, everything. Creighton Holman, for his season totals, on offense, he has 92 catches, 92 reception yards, and 68 rushing yards, and he has 142 kickoff return yards. Now on defense, he has 8 tackles, 1 caused fumble, 2 interceptions, and 3 touchdowns. So good job, Creighton. Again, he does everything at Jeff West. Jeff West, again, just north of Topeka, and I'm really proud of that school because that's kind of where I grew up, just hanging around Jeff West. So next we go to an interesting player here is Holden Ferrellis. He's a 2028 quarterback out of Sedgwick. He plays for the Kansas Colts. I've mentioned him on the show before, and I'm going to say the same thing that I always say. In Friday's game, he had 224 total yards of offense with a touchdown. For a 2028, he has an amazing arm, and an amazing knowledge of the game. My issue with Holden is that his coach is asking him to hand the ball off too much, not taking advantage of Holden's arm. The coach needs to use the talent he has with him, and let the ball fly. Also, Sedgwick does not have a very good offensive line, so they're not going to get a lot of yards running. I know you have to keep him off balance, but he runs the ball way too much. Get Holden out on the side, out on the perimeter, and Holden can take off running. Holden's an extremely good running quarterback as well. Good arm, good legs. If Holden can get outside the pocket and he runs, he will be he'll get Sedgwick a lot of wins. Right now they're having a little bit of an issue, so Holden, coach is holding them back, but we'll see. I'm hoping I will get some bigger numbers from Holden in the passing game. The coach just has to let him go, letting him work. So then I go to Caleb Peterson. He's a 2026 outside linebacker and edge rusher from Blue Valley Northwest. He helped Blue Valley Northwest win 40-31 over Shawnee Mission Northwest. He is a 6'3", 235-pound edge rusher. He had 9 tackles, 5 solo tackles, 2 fumble recoveries, and a sack. He's extremely good. He does hold a Washburn offer. His brother Gabe plays at New Mexico State, and his dad Ben, he played for the Bengals. I don't know if you remember him, but Ben Peterson was really good for the Bengals. Again, kind of showing my age a little bit. But Caleb Peterson, 2026 outside linebacker, edge rush, Blue Valley Northwest. So then we go to Logan Fulton out of Wamego. Logan is a quarterback of that Wamego team that I spoke about last week, I think. Really good team year in, year out. Logan's the next up on the quarterbacks for Wamego. Last week he had 208 yards passing and 50 yards rushing. And for the year he has 558 yards passing with 201 yards rushing. And I feel Fulton is a breakout quarterback again with the help of Weston Moody, the head coach at Wamego. He's a really good coach, but he's a really good quarterback coach too. So Logan Fulton, 2027, expect big things out of him this season, and in his senior year, he'll really take off as well. Next, I want to go to one of the most underrated linebackers in the state of Kansas. He's out of Wichita East. He's a 2026 Farrell Adams. He is a 3-star, but I feel he's still underrated. He is a Tennessee State commit. They are getting an absolute steal. Farrell he's very well. They beat Wichita Northwest. That was a really good game. Really hot rivalry. I think there was a lot of fights in that game, if I remember right. But Wichita Northwest is a really good team. He had 11 tackles, 2 forced fumbles, 2 fumble recoveries, 1 sack, and 1 pass breakup. Again, extremely underrated player, Farrell Adams with Wichita East. Tennessee State commit, 3-star. I feel he should be a 4-star. I mean, he's really good. Next we go to Sterling, running back, DB, 2027 Wyatt Newberry. He had 110 rushing yards with 1 touchdown and 1 interception. His running back mate at Sterling is Kansas Colt, and one of my favorite Kansas Colt players, Zane Farney, 2026. For the game, he had 177 yards rushing with 3 touchdowns. Then on the season, again, just over 2 games is all, he has 332 yards rushing with 7 TDs in only 2 games. So Zane Farney, Sterling, 2026 running back, and he plays for the Colts. Then we go to Beckett Linden. He's a 2026 linebacker out of Blue Valley Northwest. He's a 2-time team captain for Blue Valley Northwest. He had 10 total tackles, 1 tackle for loss, and 1 sack. What you're going to notice is I'm saying a lot of Blue Valley Northwest. Blue Valley Northwest is probably the most talented team anywhere close to around here, offense and defense. And I'm going to see them, I want to say in like 2 or 3 weeks. I'll be going down. I'll be traveling to Blue Valley Northwest to watch them. And in this broadcast, I'm not even mentioning half of them. I mean, they're loaded. Blue Valley Northwest is absolutely loaded. So Beckett Linden, 2026 linebacker, Blue Valley Northwest, 10 tackles, 1 tackle for loss, and 1 sack. Then we go to another Kansas Colt. He's an athlete DB out of Emporia. He's Oliver Klein. He's a 2028 athlete. He had 10 tackles, 2 solos, 102-yard pick six, and 1 punt return for 36 yards. Oliver Klein is a 2028 and really showing out. So really good for him. Next we go to Blake Thomas. He's a 2029 running back, wide receiver, DB, everything at Blue Valley Southwest. He trains with Gridiron Fit, which is the Lewandowskis, and I'll talk about those guys later. Gridiron Fit is a training place run by the Lewandowskis, and you have to be top. I mean, they are top. Everybody that goes to them is going to be a D1 Power 4 recruit. They only take the best of the best. So if they are a Gridiron Fit athlete, they're going to be elite. Again, he is a 2029, and he had 7 catches, 181 yards, 200 all-purpose yards, 3 touchdowns, and again, he's a freshman. Blake Thomas, probably going to be a top 1 or 2 recruit in 2029 out of the state of Kansas. Then we go to Bryce Randall. He's a 2026 running back out of Olathe Northwest. I saw him first at Washburn's camp, and really impressed me with his size and his power running. He had 23 carries for 154 yards and 1 touchdown versus Garden City. Then we got to the number 1 running back in the state of Kansas, Alan Arndt, 2026 running back, St. Thomas Aquinas, repeat offender on this show, of course, because he is the number 1 running back in the state of Kansas. They played St. James Academy, who is extremely one of the top teams in the state of Kansas every year. He had 293 yards and 5 touchdowns. Season, which is only 2 games old, remember. He has 528 yards and 8 touchdowns already. Okay? That's how good he is. Last season, he had over 2,000 yards and 27 touchdowns, so he's well on his way to doing that again. Again, only 2 games, and he has almost 530 yards. 2,000 yards is well within his reach. So, Callan Arndt, 2026 running back out of St. Thomas Aquinas. Next, we go to Rain Elian. He's a 2027 quarterback out of Maize South. 6'4", 220. I saw Rain, I want to say it was K-State's camp. I can't remember, KU or K-State. I think it was K-State's camp. He is a 6'4", 220. Great size, powerful kid, quarterback. They beat Salina South to 38-35. His numbers versus Salina South was 36 of 49 for 461 yards, 4 touchdowns. Now, he does lead the state in state of Kansas in passing over 2 games with 746 yards. Rain Alien is a 2027 quarterback out of Maize South. He is the state of Kansas passing leader as of right now. Next, I go to another repeat offender because he is one of my favorite guys. Really great kid. Cordell Quicks Johnson, 2027 DB out of Wichita Northwest. He's a Wichita Wheat. He's a track guy, one of the fastest guys in the state. You've heard me say it on other podcasts, he's an absolute headhunter. He had 2 tackles and 1 interception and 70 yards in return. So I'm really proud of Quicks Johnson. Wichita Northwest 2027. So look for him to have a good year this year, and senior year next year, and his recruiting will take off. Next we have, in my opinion, another repeat offender. I've told you this in other podcasts. The number 1 receiver, in my opinion, is Griffin Baker, 2026 wide receiver out of Wichita Northwest. He's Wichita Wheat. He is, in my opinion, the best receiver in Kansas, best number one possession receiver. He's a number one route runner. The thing about him, again, he's marching up the recruiting rankings. He's getting a lot of attention from a lot of people. Again, I'd like to hope that my podcasts are helping him get recruited and getting his name out to coaches, because ever since we started talking about him, man, he's really gone up the recruiting rankings. So this weekend he had 5 catches for 68 yards, including a lot of clutch possession. Like I said, he's the number one possession receiver because of his route running. He had a lot of clutch first down catches that set his team up for rushing touchdowns. So great job. Another great game by Griffin Baker, 2026 wide receiver out of Wichita Northwest. So then I need to go back again to repeat offender William Voos, 2026 running back out of Sabetha. He is my hidden gem in the state of Kansas. Him and another guy that we'll mention later. He had 16 carries for 188 yards with 3 touchdowns. He is a workout warrior. He's very fast, very quick. Again, some guys are fast, but they're not quick. Some guys are quick, but he's both of them. One man won't bring him down because of his quickness. He's gonna juke you out. He is wonderful in between the tackles. Cuts on a dime. I found him at camps this summer, and I believe with some 7-on-7 and some more camping. Again, he's a 2026, so he can still go to camps after this season. But with the numbers he's putting up on Friday nights, his exposure and recruiting is going to explode. Again, he's a hidden gem. My other hidden gem is out of Caden Couchman out of Scott City. I didn't get his numbers, or I do want to mention him because, again, he is a absolute hidden gem. He's a big kid that can move like a little guy in between tackles. He's not going to burst you with his speed, but once he gets to the second level, he can hit that grind and get that next level. But Caden Couchman, I'm going to be speaking a lot about him later in many podcasts because he's an absolute stud out of Scott City. And again, he's kind of hidden out there in western Kansas, so he doesn't get a lot of pub. But believe me, we're going to get him out there and get his name mentioned. So next we want to come back to the Eastern Kansas, which is Turner Julesgaard, 2026 DB out of Lawrence. I first saw him at Baker Camp, and he really impressed me. He had 7 tackles. He doubled the number 2 defender in the game versus Junction City. At those 7 tackles, he had twice as many as everybody else. He also had 3 assisted tackles. He's an aggressive and very well trained in mechanics. I don't know where he trains or even if he trains, but he does have that kind of natural ability to him. So really look forward to watching him more. So then we go out to Wellington, Kansas, to a quarterback that I've mentioned before, Colton Elmore. He's a 2028 quarterback. Again, Kansas Colts. He had 223 yards passing with 2 touchdowns. Again, Kansas Colts, I can't wait to see him again this spring. What I've known about Colton is that over the last 2 years, he's put on a lot of good weight, a lot of muscle weight. He's gotten taller. He's hit a growth spurt, and with his knowledge and his ability, again, he's a 2028. Give him 2 or 3 more years, and he's going to be a top quarterback in the state of Kansas. I promise. Colton Elmore, 2028 out of Wellington. Next, we want to go to another Kansas Colt, Cooper Cranston. He's a 2028, and he's an all-around athlete out of Holcomb. He's only a sophomore. He had 8 carries for 173 yards and 2 rushing touchdowns. Then he was 8 of 14 passing. He had 148 yards passing and 2 passing touchdowns as well. Okay, but then he plays defense too, where he had 3 interceptions, and one of them was, 3 interceptions with a pick 6. So we had 3 interceptions, a pick 6, 173 yards rushing, 2 touchdowns, 148 yards passing with 2 touchdowns. So Cooper Cranston had a heck of a weekend, and Kansas Colts, you got a good one. Then we want to go to Kansas Elite, 7-on-7 player Roman Miller. He's a 2026 tight end out of Baser Linwood. In my opinion, Roman is easily top 3 tight end in the state of Kansas. Horribly underrated. I saw him at Washburn camp. I thought Washburn was going to offer him at the camp. He had such a wonderful camp. He had 5 receptions for 48 yards and a touchdown this weekend. So Roman Miller, again, in my opinion, top 3 tight end in the state of Kansas. Then we go to Trace Rudd. He's a 2026 kicker. I've mentioned him many times. Again, Blue Valley Northwest. He is an Oklahoma commit, and he was 4 for 4 on his point afters. He had 6 touchbacks and 4 punts, and all those were he nailed within inside the 20. So again, OU commit. Spoken about him many times. So another guy I mentioned before, one of my favorite players in Topeka. He might be my favorite player in Topeka. Cade Mitchell, 2026 athlete out of Hayden. First saw him at camps, actually, and then saw him at multiple camps after I first saw him at Baker, I think it was. He had 8 carries, 145 yards for 2 touchdowns. He had 1 catch for 16 yards. He had 1 kickoff return for 37 yards. He only played 3 quarters, though, and because they won 49-0. But again, so in 3 quarters, he had 8 carries for 145 yards and 2 touchdowns, and 1 catch for 16 yards, and 1 kickoff return for 37 yards. So Cade continues to impress. So good job, Cade. Next, we want to go to, I know you get tired of me saying this, but this is another Kansas Colt, Tramel Walker, 2026 athlete out of Hutchinson. He's another running back. This is a weird game for him. He played running back and wide receiver on offense and wide receiver on offense and corner on defense. Halfway through the game, the starting quarterback cramped up, so Tramel jumped in. But before that, he had 2 tackles, 2 pass breakups, but then he came in and played quarterback. And he had 61 yards passing with 2 touchdown passes and 32 yards rushing. So good job, Tramel. Again, I know y'all probably tired of me talking about Kansas Colts, but they keep impressing. I mean, that's the team to be on anymore. So really proud of all those Kansas Colts. So that's the end of Kansas. Now we're going to move over to Missouri. Missouri has Chase Behringer. He's a 2027 quarterback out of Rockwood High School, and he's a member of Falcon Elite. He's a dual threat quarterback. He is 6'2", 190 pounds, so he's got good size for a 2027. He got a year or 2 to grow, even more. In week 12, he had 12 completions for 174 yards and 2 touchdown passes. For the season, he has 34 completions for 564 yards and 7 touchdown passes. Next, we want to go to, if you remember right, earlier I meant Gridiron Fit. This young man's family owns, or not owns, but they run Gridiron Elite. Again, Gridiron Elite only takes the elite of the Kansas City area. Wonderful training facility. They're going to start putting on camps. If I understand right, they're going to start putting on exposure camps next spring. But Cruz is I mentioned him before in the last podcast, I think it was. He's a 2029 linebacker out of Rockhurst. Rockhurst is the equivalent of Notre Dame, Ohio State, Georgia, of high school football in Missouri. Cruz is the first freshman to start at Rockhurst in 25 years. So that tells you how good Cruz is. So in this Friday's game on defense, through 3 games, which Missouri has now played 3 games. Through 3 games, he has 28 tackles, 2 tackles for loss, 2 pass deflections, 1 interception, and 1 pick 6. They did give the ball to him on offense, where he scored a touchdown as well. Took it off tackle and ran in for a touchdown. Cruz is, like I said, a freshman starting at Rockhurst. That is something to really blows your mind if you know anything about Rockhurst football. He is going to be easily top 1 or 2 recruits in the state of Missouri in 2029. So good job, Cruz, and we're all watching you. Next, we want to go to another repeat offender. A lot of times on my podcast, Trey Baskerville, 2026 wide receiver out of Platte County, plays for Epic Midwest. 7-on-7, he had 9 catches for 103 yards. Again, Platte County, and they are 3-0 and the defending state champions. Next week, they come to Topeka to take on 2-0 Washburn Rural. I'll be at that game, so I'll be able to see Trey. And then I will also be able to see his wide receiver mate, 2026, another Epic Midwest, Braden Stevens. Braden is absolutely one of my favorite wide receivers. Want to go back to Trey real quick. If you have a chance to watch his huddle video, go watch his huddle video. One of the most impressive huddle videos I've ever seen. Trey, when he gets the ball, again, he's a wide receiver. Once he gets the ball in the corner, he is like an in-between tackles running back. Just a bowling ball. Just go watch his huddle video. It's wonderful. Back to Braden Stevens, 2026 wide receiver. He only played 3 quarters, but he had 5 catches for 59 yards and a touchdown. In my opinion, he's probably the best route runner in the state of Missouri. He's the best possession receiver. So like in Kansas, we had Griffin Baker. Missouri has Braden Stevens. Wonderful possession receiver, and the reason why is because his underneath route running is amazing. He cuts on a dime. He jukes. He'll get the defender on roller skates, and then he finds the spot on in the zone. He adjusts his route. Him and the quarterback are on the same wavelength. Braden Stevens is easily the best route runner and possession receiver that I know of in the state of Missouri. So Braden Stevens, 2026, Platte County. Next we go to my favorite linebacker in the state of Missouri. He's 2027, out of Neosho. He plays for GC7, 7-on-7. He's the best linebacker I've seen in person through all the camps that I went through this spring, summer and spring. The best linebacker fundamentally. When I saw him, I immediately had to call GC7, my guys down around Neosho, Missouri, and tell them, you got to get him on here. And they reached out to him, and so he'll be playing for them next year. But he led the team. He led Neosho with 10 tackles. He had a fumble recovery, and they are 3-0 after their 47-17 win. So Colby McGehee, 2027 linebacker out of Neosho. Really impressive. Hoping that I'd seen him up here at Baker, seen him at a couple other ones, but I'm hoping he goes to Baker so I can go watch him play more after he graduates. Now we're going to go over to Nebraska to a repeat offender out of Nebraska, Ethan Beachy, 2026 quarterback, Elkhorn North. They beat Ralston 56-21, and Ethy had another wonderful game. He went 10 for 15 with 202 passing yards with 3 passing touchdowns. Then we go to Sage Crash Giddings. He's a newcomer to the show. He's a 2027 running back out of Westview, and he's FBU Top Gun MVP. He had 19 carries for 201 yards and 2 touchdowns, and one of those touchdowns was a 78-yarder. So Sage Crash Giddings, 2027 running back out of Westview. Then we go to probably the biggest recruit out of Nebraska, Jet Thamala, 2026 quarterback out of Millard South. He is an Alabama commit. For the game, he was 14 of 17 for 291 yards and 6 touchdowns. That was just in one half. So 291 yards, almost 300 yards, and 6 touchdowns in one half. And then then for the season, he's 44 of 58 for 802 yards and 14 touchdowns. So Jet Thamala, Millard South, Again, he's an Alabama commit. Next, we go to Illinois, where we have Rashad Love, 2027 wide receiver / safety out of Zion, Illinois. He plays for Primetime 7-on-7. He's a 6'5", 160-pound safety with an attitude. He plays with controlled chaos. He had 6 solo tackles, 3 assisted tackles, and 1 pick six. That's Rashad Love, 2027 wide receiver / safety out of Zion, Illinois. Then we go to, and I hope I pronounced his name right, Michael Vander Legeren, 2027 quarterback out of Batavia, and they won 41-13 over Glenbard North. He was 15 of 20 for 165 yards and 3 touchdown passes. Then we go over to Iowa, which really excited to tell you about this guy because it's Reese Wheeler. He's a 2027 quarterback out of Iowa City West. Reese, I saw him at a 12U team playing for Iowa Flex, and this is in Kansas City. Again, he was a 14-year-old, and they won the championship game. Usually I leave after the 18U, 15U, 14. I start to head towards the doors. But I wanted to see this 12U because I seen this quarterback that was just tearing it up, and so they won it, and so I went up to him and spoke to him, and he informed me that he was not their quarterback, that their normal quarterback didn't make the trip, and so when the team got there, they didn't have a quarterback, and so he said, "Yeah, I'll play quarterback," and he's just an absolute natural. But I want to also say that Reese is also one of the absolute best young men I've ever met on this football field. Just an amazing young man. So he went for the week. He was 11 of 17 for 237 yards with 1 touchdown. He had 36 yards rushing with 2 rushing touchdowns. And for the season, he's 26 of 42 for 564 yards and 5 touchdowns. And he has 81 yards rushing. He has 2 touchdowns and 0 interceptions. So Reese Wheeler out of Iowa City West, he's a 2027. So he has a couple years to make his mark. Again, amazing young man. Wherever college he goes to is getting just a fine young man. So want to put that out for him. Landon Blum is a 2027 wide receiver out of Woodbine High School. He's a 4-star. He is the #1 player in Iowa for 2027. He has offers from Illinois, Iowa, Iowa State, Kansas State, Maryland, Minnesota, and Wisconsin, to name a few. That's Landon Blum, 2027 wide receiver out of Woodbine. He had 6 catches for 156 yards and 3 receiving touchdowns. Again, he's a 4-star. Then we have Carson Gary. He's a 2028 wide receiver DB out of Cedar Falls, Iowa. He plays for Savages 7-on-7. I think I've mentioned him before. He's a repeat offender on the platform. In the game this last week, he had 3 carries for 67 yards with 3 receptions for 22 yards. And on the season, he has 5 carries for 130 yards and 10 catches for 107 yards. So again, he's a 2028 wide receiver out of Cedar Falls, Carson Gary. Then we want to go over to Wyoming for a player that I've mentioned here before. He is the fastest man in Wyoming, Breck Reed. He's a 2026 wide receiver corner out of Sheridan, and he plays for Gain Sports 7-on-7. Now, Gain Sports is a national training facility, and they bring in players from all over the nation. Again, down in Florida, and he's from Sheridan, Wyoming. He made first team All-State on offense and defense. And again, he's the fastest man in Wyoming. So he had 94 yards rushing, 86 yards receiving with 2 touchdowns, and he had 226 all-purpose yards, and he added a pick 6. Rick Reed needs to be, again, up in Wyoming. He's going to get that West Coast recruiting, but he plays for Gain Sports down in Florida. So he's going to get that national exposure. You better get in on him real quick. He crosses me as a person that you see under recruited, goes to a small school, then has a breakout, and then goes to a Power 4 later. Just works his way up. So you better get in on him. Breck Reed, 2026 wide receiver out of Sheridan. Then we go down to Arkansas. You go Cannon Jacobs, 2026 quarterback out of El Dorado High School. He was 8 of 18 for 135 yards passing, and then 15 carries for 75 yards rushing, and he had 6 rushing touchdowns. So Cannon Jacobs, 2026 quarterback out of El Dorado, 15 carries for 75 yards, 6 touchdowns running, and he was also 8 of 18 passing. Isaiah Stevens, he's a 2027 running back out of Sheridan High School. He is Arkansas 2027 number 2 ranked running back and number 4 ranked overall recruit. He has offers from Arkansas State, Ole Miss, North Carolina. So he's already got some Power 4 offers. Again, he's a number 2027. He's the number 2 running back in the state and number 4 overall recruit in 2027. He had 11 carries for 118 yards and a touchdown. And then receiving, he had 5 catches for 161 yards, 1 touchdown with a 2-point conversion reception. That's Isaiah Stevens, 2027, running back out of Sheridan High School. Next, we have a guy that I saw at a DR7 tournament, play for A-State Steelers, extremely impressed me. He's a 2028 wide receiver out of Greenwood High School, Braxton, Canada. He had 4 catches for 60 yards and 1 touchdown in their 43-42 thrilling win over Springdale Harbor. 2028, really quick, gets open, finds the open zone, adjusts his routes. Braxton, Canada, 2028 wide receiver out of Greenwood High School, also plays for A-State Steelers. So really good kid. Then we go down to Oklahoma, where we have Jatarius Snooty Neal. He's a 2027 running back out of Broken Bow High School. He plays for Sean Cooper at C4, 7-on-7. C4 is, in Oklahoma, probably the best 7-on-7 top echelon athletes play for C4. He had 15 carries for 159 yards and 2 touchdowns. Then he had 3 catches for 86 yards and 1 touchdown. He had 245 all-purpose yards. So again, Jatarius Snooty Neal, 2027 running back out of Broken Bow. Then we go to Colorado. Colorado is one of my favorite places to see with Team Full Gorilla 7-on-7 and Ducks 7-on-7. They're all my favorite guys. But we have Nick Leopardi, Leopardi, 2028 wide receiver out of Holy Family High School. He had 5 catches for 201 yards and 3 touchdowns. Jax Sayre, 2027 wide receiver out of Loveland, had 3 catches for 201 yards and 2 touchdowns. Colin Wolf, a 2026 wide receiver out of Coronado High School, had 5 receptions for 173 yards and 2 touchdowns. Landon Drum, he's a 2026 wide receiver out of Arapahoe High School. He's a 3-star and Cal Poly commit. He had 10 catches for 169 yards and 2 touchdowns. Then we had one of my favorite teams, the Ducks. I've mentioned him before, Gavin Montoya. He's a 2027 out of Broomfield. He had 8 catches for 167 yards and a touchdown, so good job, Gavin. Way to go, Ducks. And then we have Torrey Davis, 2026 wide receiver out of Fairview. He has offers from Oklahoma State, Kansas State, UCLA, and Utah. He had 7 receptions for 159 yards and 1 touchdown. Again, that's Torrey Davis, 2026 wide receiver out of Fairview. Then another guy that I've mentioned many times before, because in my mind he's the best running back in the state of Colorado. He plays for Team Full Gorilla on 7-on-7. He's 2026 running back out of Cherry Creek, 3-star running back Jaden Fox. They won 58-21 over Skyridge, who was Utah 6A high school state champions. So they won 58-21 over them. In the game, he had 21 carries for 275 yards with 3 touchdowns. So for the season, He has 53 carries for 742 yards and 9 touchdowns. I'm going to repeat those. For the game, he had 21 carries, 275 yards, and 3 touchdowns. For the season, he has 53 carries for 742 yards and 9 touchdowns. So good job, Jaden Fox, 2026 running back, Cherry Creek. Then we have Nico Mavermont. He's a 2027 linebacker at Cherokee Trail High School. He's number 4 ranked linebacker in Colorado. Through 3 games, Nico has 27 tackles and 4 quarterback hurries. He is a tenacious linebacker. He uses his hands. He sheds his blocks really, really well. If you watch his videos, he sheds the blocks really well. Uses his hands to control the O lineman, get him off of him, give him space to make the tackle. He's really good at zone coverage. He does not. When a receiver goes through his zone, he follows him through the zone, but does not follow him outside of the zone, therefore freeing up receiver to come in his zone that he just vacated. He plays zone defense extremely well as a linebacker. So Nico Mavermont, 2027, Cherokee Trail High School. Then we go to South Dakota. I want to get Brody Schaefer. I've been a big Brody Schaefer fan for a long time. He's a 2027 quarterback out of Lincoln High School. This weekend he was 8 of 13 for 172 yards. He had 4 touchdown passes, and he only played the one half. So 172 yards and 4 touchdown passes in one half. For the season, he's 28 of 38 for 543 yards. He has 12 passing touchdowns, 0 interceptions, and has 124 rushing yards with 2 rushing TDs. So again, he's completed 28 passes, and 12 of those have been touchdowns. So good job, Brody Schaefer, 2027 quarterback out of Lincoln High School in South Dakota. Then I want to go to Wisconsin. Brock Baldwin. Brock Baldwin is a 2027 safety out of Kenosha Tremper High School. He plays for Primetime as well. Primetime 7-on-7. He has 7 solo tackles, 5 assisted tackles, and 1 interception. Then we go to Ohio. We have Carter Atwater, 2028 quarterback out of Rocky River High School. He was 10 of 12 for 256 yards, 5 passing touchdowns. So 10 completions and 5 touchdown passes. Half of his completions were touchdowns. In the win over Valley Forge, with 3 turnovers caused by the Rocky Ridge defense. So good job on team effort there. Again, Carter Atwater, 2028 quarterback, Rocky River, 10 of 12 for 256 yards and 5 passing touchdowns. Then we go to Indiana, to one of my favorite guys. Amari Price is a quarterback. He's a freshman, 2029. I've mentioned him before out of Morton High School. Mentioned him on this podcast many times before. He had 190 yards passing, 25 yards rushing with 2 TDs. Morton lost to the Michigan 6A state champions, but Amari still had that real good game. Amari, again, is a 2029 out of Indiana. He's going to be easily a top 10 recruit in 2029. When it's all said and done, he's going to be a top quarterback. Amari Price, remember you heard Coach Bucket's talking about him. 2029 quarterback out of Morton High School in Indiana. He has a receiver named Amir Daniels, who is a 2028 wide receiver. That's Amari Price's favorite receiver, Amir Daniels. Over 3 games, he's got 17 receptions for 309 yards and 2 touchdowns. So both those guys play at Morton High School, and just keep an eye out for them. Then we want to go down to Florida. I know that's outside of the Great Plains region, but I do a lot of Florida recruiting down there. Love to go down there and bring that Florida talent up to the Midwest. One of my guys that I really talk about a lot and try to push to coaches up here. 2026 quarterback, Sarasota Christian, Ben Milliken. He also plays for Gain Sports 7-on-7. He is a 2-time All-State quarterback in Florida. So what does that tell you? That tells you 2-time All-State in Florida. He's pretty dang good. He was in this last week. He was 30 of 54 for 410 yards and a touchdown. Let me repeat that. In one game, he was 30 of 54 for 410 yards and a touchdown. Has expressed to me, even though he plays in Florida, he has family up in the Midwest, and he's very open to coming up to the Midwest to play. So let's get him recruited up here. Next, we want to go to. I'm going to skip down to Casey Barrett. He's a 2027 quarterback at Clearwater Central Catholic. He plays for STP 7-on-7. Saw him at the Crown for DR7 Sports 7-on-7 tournament. Really impressed with him. For the game last week, he was 6 of 8 for 131 yards. He had 10 rushes for 57 yards. For the season, he's 32 of 40 passing, with 652 yards and 180 yards rushing. Again, that's Casey Barrett, 2027 quarterback. He's a very, very, very extremely smart quarterback. Knows how to run an offense. So Clearwater Central Catholic, Casey Barrett. Then I want to go to a team that I've talked about out of Florida many times. It's AJ Sadinger's Countryside High School. They have a national recruit at kicker, Josh Acree. He's a 2026 kicker. He's a 4-star kicker. In this last week's games, he was 8 for 8 on his kicks. He was 7 of 7 on extra points, and he kicked 1 field goal. He had 1 touchback, but he also had a squib kick that he squibbed and recovered to fumble. So again, the 4-star kicker, Josh Acree, out of Countryside High School. Then I want to quickly go through a couple of others from AJ Sadinger's team from Countryside. He had linebacker Zion Poole. He had 10 tackles, 3 tackles for loss, 1 sack, 1 forced fumble, and 1 pick six. Quarterback Cam Waddington is 11 of 17, 136 yards for 4 touchdowns. Again, 11 of 17 for 136 yards and 4 touchdowns. Wide receiver Ricky Kongsine, he had 3 catches for 31 yards and 1 touchdown. Defensive end slash tight end, Karante Moore had 7 tackles, 2 tackles for loss, and a sack, but he also had a touchdown to add to it. Strong safety and running back Dontavius Miley had 7 tackles and 1 touchdown. So good job again by AJ Sadinger. Totally brought in winning attitude where they expect to win, not hope to win. He's a great, amazing coach at Countryside there in Florida. Next, we can go to Fisher Grizzard, 2026 slot receiver out of St. Petersburg High School. He had 7 receptions for 148 yards and 2 touchdowns. Again, Fisher Grizzard, 2026 slot out of St. Petersburg High School. Next, I want to go to one of my other favorite quarterbacks in Florida. He's one of the best quarterbacks in the Tampa area, regardless of class. He's a 2028 quarterback out of Alonzo High School. He plays for Prime 8. 7-on-7 is Michael Pine. He's going to be extremely highly recruited. He's already gotten a lot of looks. He's a 2028, so give him some time to get even more. You need to get in on him right now, because Michael Pine is going to be a top recruit nationally out of Florida. This year's stat line to date, he's got 3 games. He's 34-51 for 569 yards. He's got 5 passing TDs. He's rushed the ball 7 times for 75 yards, and he has 3 rushing TDs. Michael is an amazing leader. Really knows how to run an offense. Great ball placement. Calm. He just knows how to play the quarterback position. So Michael Pine, 2028 Alonzo High School. He's going to be top recruit. So now we're going to go down to Mississippi. And I found this guy just messing around, just finding big players from Mississippi. I don't even know why. I just happened to be looking. But Mississippi has Ty Keys. He's a 2027 running back out of Poplarville High School. And Poplarville won 60-54 over Hancock. But Ty Keys had 17 carries, 146 yards, and 8 touchdowns in one game. 17 carries, 546 yards, and 8 touchdowns. Now, Ty does have offers from Ole Miss, Mississippi State, Texas San Antonio, Penn State, Oregon, Boston College, and Central Florida. But I just found that stat line was amazing. 17 carries, 546 yards, and 8 touchdowns. Again, Ty Keys, 2027 running back out of Poplarville High School in Mississippi. Next, I want to go back out to California for a guy that I name almost every podcast where I talk about players outside of the Great Plains. Dane Weber, California 2027, Chaparral High School out of Temecula, California. In this game, he was 15 of 17 for 354 yards with 4 touchdowns. He had 9 rushes for 60 yards and 1 rushing touchdown. But again, 15 of 17, so he only missed two balls. Over 350 yards. He had 354 yards passing, and he had 4 touchdowns. So Dane Weber, 2027, quarterback, Chaparral High School out of Temecula, California. Then we move down to Arizona, where we have Cooper Cross, 2026, middle linebacker out of Bueno High School. He is a 3-star. He has 7 solo tackles, 6 assisted tackles, 2 tackles for loss, 1 sack, and 5 QB hurries. Then I want to go to New Mexico, and I saw this guy playing for Duke City, 7-on-7, at a DR Sports tournament in Oklahoma City. He was one of them where didn't know who he was at the beginning. I saw him play, and just my scouting eye just picked up on him immediately, and he's an amazing linebacker, edge rusher, tight end, just an amazing guy. Elijah Richards, he's a 2026 tight end, edge rusher out of Cleveland High School. He is the number 1 tight end in the state of New Mexico. He is a New Mexico Lobos commit, but he had 13 tackles, 4 assisted tackles, and 3 sacks. So even though he's the number 1 tight end in New Mexico, he also plays that edge really good. 13 tackles, 4 assisted tackles, and 3 sacks. Again, that's Elijah Richards, 2026 tight end, edge rusher out of Cleveland High School, New Mexico. That wraps it up. Sorry we went through this so fast, but we had to get through them. Again, I encourage you to get me your stats. Try to get them to me before Monday evening, so I can get your name up here and we can get you out here. Again, the reason why we had so many names is because, like I said at the end of the last episode, if you get me your names, we'll get them out there. So that's why the show took so long, was we got a lot of names, and so now we're getting scouts out here. We're getting coaches to listen. So I encourage you to continue to support me and the platform, and let's get you some recognition. Let's get you some exposure, and I want to wish you all good luck on your upcoming games this week. All right, thanks for joining.